listening to The Burn. Gaming stuff, blazing fast.
Welcome to a new episode of The Burn, podcast about gaming done blazing fast. I'm Aviv Manoach.
And I am Omer Kaplan. Hey, how are you? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to George Washington. Happy birthday all around.
Oh, that's the origin of the President's Day? That's the George Washington's birthday?
I think so. Don't ask the immigrant, but I think it is.
No. Now we're going to Google President's Day. President's Day. And we're going to go to Wikipedia.
Yes, it's President's Day, officially Washington's birthday.
Okay, whatever.
So hold on. Did you and George Washington were born in the same day?
Apparently.
That's pretty nice, I think. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, the second paragraph on Wikipedia says Washington's birthday was celebrated on February 22nd until 1971, when the Uniform Monday Holiday Act moved it to just the third Monday of February. So no, we are not sharing a birthday. I was born on the 21st, which is the exact day we are recording, and Washington was born on the 22nd, which makes him inferior by one day.
Yes. And also, that Uniform Holiday Act is pretty cool, I have to say.
Yes, it is cool because it makes all of your holidays a long weekend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty much it. Cool. So, you need to do the interesting.
Yeah, I would say that we had a community work call yesterday, and we were talking about Israeli holidays and work weeks and stuff like that. And then we talked about President's Day, and I was like, well, with half of your presidents, I wouldn't want to celebrate President's Day.
Yeah, so apparently, President's Day is not for the president. I think it's for a president. So maybe that's fine. But I don't know.
I kind of think the other, if it's more for the institution of presidency, it's a bit better than if it's for a specific person, because as we know, all historical figures, not only in the US, were douchebags. So I don't want to celebrate those people.
So we said, hey, we have a code of law based system where there's hierarchy, and okay, well, I can get behind that. I can also get behind the long weekend. So
that's true. But sure, let's talk gaming. We are The Burn, a podcast about gaming done blazing fast. We do a show where we talk about the games we have been playing and sometimes news, but not today because, the beginning of the year is always slow in gaming news. And I didn't dig deep and went looking for the news. Although last episode, which was a month ago, we did talk about the Microsoft acquisition, and then after that, there was also the Sony acquisition of Bungie, which I discussed at length over several episodes of the Hebrew podcast. So we can talk about that, especially as we'll talk about Horizon at the end, which is also a Sony thing that we can tie into that. But anyway, you can find all of the episodes on theburn.live, which is our webpage. And you can also listen to me on twitch.tv/icel.me, where I stream from time to time. I mainly the Hebrew podcast nowadays, but sometimes I do game dev and art things and stuff like that. That's it. Also, Omer, you were on vacation to exotic locales.
Yes, we went to the Bahamas. I told you, it's like playing Far Cry 6, just like in real life.
Wait, you didn't tell me. I was the one that said it first.
Yes, right. So I told you about the boat experience when we just took a boat from one island to another, and it's literally felt like just a quest that you spending 30 minutes just in a boat and just waiting to get to the other place. And it's more Far Cry than you think. So basically, we went to an island called Nassau, which is the capital of the Bahamas, I think. And then, so there's this island, and in adjacent, not inside, but maybe like adjacent to this island, there's another island called Paradise Island, which is basically it's an island that was designed. Okay, so here's my take on that. So it's an island that was designed to match the perception of, let's say, Western country tourist on how a tropical vacation should be. And I'm saying it in like the best, and I'm saying it in the best way possible, right? Because like it's amazing, right? So you get there, imagine like all the houses are like painted, one pink house, one green house, one yellow house. Everything is like super controlled. So it's like an island that.
So it's very tailored, but it's not authentic.
Yeah, like nothing about it is authentic. Everything is like constructed like pseudo authentic, but everything's like super polished.
Interesting.
So like even the restaurant, the menu, how people dress, how people behave, like the staff, like everything is really trying to cater to the perception of Western tourists rather than like, how you, and then you pass the bridge to get to the island, but then when you cross the bridge to just the island, then you see it for what it is, which is where all the people who work at the hotels and like the, like travel industry work, and then you can see like really how they live, and then it's literally Far Cry 6.
Well, I do hope you didn't like went on a killing rampage.
No. Yeah, no, and the kind of thing is that they actually warn you like not to leave the tourist island and like stuff like that. So it's like
That's so weird.
Like, you can see it for what it is, but like tourist island is amazing. It's like the tutorial area where everything's great.
Okay, let's talk about our game of the show, and this time it's Chivalry 2. A game which I know about, but I never played, and I actually never watched. So this will be an entirely new experience for me.
Yeah, this is an amazing game. Amazing. So, okay, let's start with the very beginning. I played Chivalry 1 quite a lot, and the thing about Chivalry 1, so imagine, when you play these like high fantasy games and like even like Divinity and like all these like even some of the more action oriented like medieval times like action games, I always felt like the combat is very sanitized and very like clean. And then when you actually learn about how combat was in the Dark Ages, it's very messy. People scratched and bite, and they had like billion peasants as like.
Well, obviously, you wanted to stay alive, so you did everything possible to kill the other guy.
Exactly, and like most people didn't even know how to like pick up a sword, and like everything was messy and
also
chaotic.
Swords are heavy.
Yes. So and everything about like army combat was chaotic and weird, and like So I think that's where like Chivalry always like leaned towards, is that chaotic environment of, okay, we're gonna throw 64 people in a game, 32 against 32, but then all you see is like billions of people fighting everywhere, and it's like for the most part melee combat. I mean, there are archers and longbows and like all that stuff, but it's like all you hear is like clashing of swords and war horns, and you have no idea what to do, and everything is a mess. So that was Chivalry 1, and that game was very leaning towards like sword skills. So you got your like sword mechanics, you got your swings, and you got your jabs, and you got your overhead, and you had to like outmaneuver the other person. And I played it a bunch, but I wasn't very good at the mechanics, so I kind of like drifted away. And then what Chivalry 2 did, they took all of the stuff that was good in Chivalry 1, added more graphics, more polish, more everything, and then they added really, really, really good team objective maps. So, and everything is obviously, Middle Ages, Dark Ages, kind of like oriented. The lore is non-existent. It's, I don't know, it's very... There's like two factions. The red team, blue team, but the blue team is called the Agatha Knights, and the red team are the Order of Mason. And I don't know who in the right mind would play the Knights of Agatha. They're like your crusaders, I don't
Well,
know, like the
what?
nice people, I guess.
Yeah, but
And then the
what
other
what what
Mason
do you
are
mean?
like,
What do you mean pick to play? Isn't that like they are just the two sides, and you have to have balanced sides?
yeah, exactly. So it's like, so the team objective maps are like 32 players against 32 players. There's two factions that fight against one another. So and they try to like make some lore out of it, but the lore is, who cares? I mean, some people care, I guess. When I read comments, but like, I've never played the blue team. I never played the Agathian Knights. And they're like, so they did Crusaders, the nice people with the king and for the order, all that stuff. And the Order of Mason are like the faction that terrorized the land for years, and now they got banished, and now they're trying to like make a comeback. So I've been playing the Order of Mason for forever, so I don't even know how it feels from the other side. So every team objective map is tailored towards like a story about what happens to one of the factions. For example, the Order of Mason want to break into one city and desecrate all the holy monuments of the Agathian Knights, which is this is what Mason do.
Uh huh.
So so you get to you know start with like pushing your siege cards, and then the next phase is, okay, you have to take the walls, and then you have to take the gatehouse, and then you have to take the village, and then you have to get to the keep and then destroy all the monument. And then the map is like on the other side. I guess there's more like phases of defense and stuff you have to do. um so, and everything is great. Like the atmosphere is amazing. So you hear like war horns and like a general like shouts from the distance, "You destroy the gates!" And like so you have like a special key that you can like do a battle roar, and like people use it all the time to like get everybody excited. So the cool thing about Chivalry too, like on the macro level, even before we get to mechanics and like how it actually works, is that you like the atmosphere is amazing, and you get to, even if you're not great with mechanics, you can play the team objective and like win the map with your brain. So you
With
just
your
play towards the
brain?
objective. Yes. So I don't play with I can't win with mechanics and my fingers. So I have to like think about, okay, what's my best positioning, what's happening on the battlefield. I can look, I can see where like I'm gonna be most like impactful, and then do that instead of just trying to like kill as many enemies as I can, which is like I'm not
Okay.
that good in it.
So you're
And
you're playing for the objective instead of playing
yeah,
for
yeah,
elimination.
exactly. So
That's
imagine like this.
I'm very similar to you. When I used to play, part of the reason I used to like the old splash damage games like Enemy Territory and the later games, Brink, Dirty Bomb, etc., is because
Mhm.
those games always had multiple objectives, and then your some of your character classes or role had a bunch of supporting abilities. So, for example, in Enemy Territory, I usually play the lieutenant, which has like an airstrike and stuff like that. So I could do things without shooting people, which I was bad at.
Exactly. So okay, so let's talk micro for a second. So this game have, I think, four like archetypes of roles. So you got your archers, you got your footmen, which are your scouts, like faster but weaker. You have your vanguards, which are like less armor but like heavy weapons, like two-handed axes and like halberds and like big spears and like big swords. And you got your knights, which are like your sword and board type of thing. So every class have multiple weapons that they can equip. So let's say you can be like some weapons have more reach. So you can be a knight with a larger sword and no shield, but you're gonna have some utility. Or you can be a knight with a shield that's better like in holding a line versus something else. So even within classes, you still have a lot of choice in like how you play and selecting the best weapon for the scenario. So for example, if you have to, let's say, attack a bridge and you have to push forward, then you can go with like a small shield and a spear and just poke your way at the enemy line and just push forward. Or you can take an archer and like try to snipe it. I hate archers though, but you can take an
I would have probably played an archer.
Yeah, it's really cool to see. Like, I mean, I imagine, like in actual battlefields, most of the players don't really know what they're doing, so just like swinging stuff and try to poke and try to shoot people. And then there's players who know how to play, so they like duck and dodge and like they can win 1 versus 2, and then you have to like identify who those players are and try to like make one versus 2, 1 versus 3, which is harder. So it's really nice seeing like a mix of skilled people, and even if you're very skilled, you're going to die because like that game is designed for you to die a lot. So it's really cool. Like I even I'm not very good mechanically, but I played the objectives and I was able to finish like top 3, top 5 in some of the
Cool.
games just because I know what needs to be done. So if I need to hold the line, I'll hold the line. If I need to like push like a catapult forward, I'll do it. If I need to like break a gate or something.
Yeah, that's a sign of a good multiplayer game. If you'll remember when we did our previous podcast together, the Storm Chasers. Blizzard added to Heroes of the Storms all sorts of, from the beginning, but later as well, also all sorts of metrics that will help non-damage dealing players to gauge their effectiveness. So at one point they also added like healing, how much healing you're doing, which was the same as damage and stuff like that. And the very philosophy around Heroes of the Storm was to like decouple how good or how skillful a single person was versus the entire team, because it didn't have like personalized gold and stuff like that other MOBA had.
Yes. So okay, so and then yes, yeah. So that's a lot of like you definitely get rewarded and like points for playing the objective. So when you open the score, like you hit tab and you open the score sheet, you can definitely be way up there if you just know, like playing smart and not necessarily just killing a whole bunch of people. Couple of cool things that separate Chivalry from like other games. First of all, there's like friendly fire, like team damage. So if you're thinking just like going in like swing your big sword, like if you're fighting in a group, you're gonna hit your teammates.
Spin
And so
to win.
Yeah, you're not hitting them for full damage, but you're going to like if they're attacking you, like interrupt them, or you'll do little bit amount of damage, and I think it's like very nicely balanced. Sometimes you'll kill them, and they'll get mad at you, but it's whatever. It's like old times combat, like stuff. I guess stuff like that happened in real life too, when just like swinging your big sword around.
Well, yes. In real life, there is friendly fire, and people die from it.
There's also like a cool dismemberment mechanic. So if you play with some weapons, you get some class types that don't have like, let's say, armor in their hands. If you hit like just right, there's like a small percentage you like just cut one of their arms, and then they'll just like if they cut your arm, you'll just like bleed to death in like some amount of time, but you can still fight. So you'll see people running around. It doesn't happen much, but like without one hand and start like swinging around, or some people without like 2 hands and they'll try to like headbutt you, like Monty Python style. So there's like some of that, not a whole lot, but it's like when it happens, it's funny. And then the last thing I'd say is like every class have their like special ability, and it's like very nicely balanced. So some people have like a war horn that can heal. Some people have like a banner that you stick in the ground and it heals everybody in the vicinity. Some people have like this like oil bomb that you throw and like set people on fire, and like it sets the floor on fire too. So you can create like zones that you control and like make people go the other way into like your enemy, like your team. So it's a part strategy, part mechanics. You can like focus on like anything you wanted, and there's lots of maps. So and the atmosphere is great.
Is it just and I think you answered that, but maybe I didn't hear correctly. Is it just the players on the map, or are there like NPC soldiers?
So some maps have NPCs. So for example, there's one team objective. So I only know stuff from the Mason Order side. So there's one map where you start by invading a village and like pillage and burn the village. So at the start of the game, you're gonna have the enemy team, but they also have like peasants working in the field, and the peasants have like all these like sickles and like tridents and stuff, and they'll try to like fight you. So and some of them and they're decent. So it
Interesting.
just creates like a number advantage. Um, and it's kind of like simulate, and then when you go into the village, like they try to fight you. So there are some NPCs. I know that. So they just deployed an update like 3 or 4 days ago, where there's like playable NPCs. So for example, one of the maps is like killing one of the heirs to the throne or something like that. And I think he's like playable.
Okay,
So
interesting.
that
Um,
yeah, like
did
one player
you
playing like the PvP.
did you ever play Titanfall's multiplayer?
Yes, it's awesome, awesome, awesome. I love it.
Yeah, so
Yes.
in Titanfall they did something similar. The groups themselves were small. I think it was 6 by 6.
Yeah, something like
Um,
that.
but you had dozens of NPCs around, and then they introduced the smart pistol, which got you to kill NPCs really quickly. And killing NPCs would award you points as well. So you
You make me want to play it
again
again.
back to the theme of you can be effective even if your Twitch skills are not excellent.
Oh, yes, yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
So let's see what else about Chivalry. So the game has, as you can think, tons of cosmetics, like a billion gazillion cosmetics. You can like select the heraldry icon on your shields and armor. Like there's billion types of armors, and like progression is really nice. You just progress with your like character class, and you also progress with your weapons. And like as you progress, you can like unlock different skins, and they're very generous with like the game currency that they give you.
Uh-huh.
You can also get. So I mean I have most of the stuff I want. You can get like golden armors and like all the cool stuff. They do have like premium currency, and it's kind of nice. So you go into like buying the premium currency, and they said, listen, you don't have to buy premium currency. The only reason we have it here is that if you want to support us as developers, but you can get everything by like quote unquote grinding, but it doesn't feel like grinding. Like they're very generous with. They just want people to play. I feel like.
Well, yeah.
Um, so that's really nice. I've been playing it. It's really cool. I've been playing it on GeForce now. So I've been playing like all the highest settings, and I'm getting like zero ping. So it's really. I mean, I enjoy this game a lot. I think they landed on very good game design, very good like soundtrack, which is pretty amazing. So I'll just like go in and play. It's session is about like one team map. It can be between like 20 to 30 minutes time. So when I have just time for like a quick like session time, I'll just jump in, play around, and it's just fun.
Awesome. A completely off-topic tangent related to medieval warfare, though. I saw on TikTok a video about English longbowmen, and
Oh,
apparently,
okay.
for years, people assumed that the stories about English longbowmen were just stories, myths, and stuff. And then they, in a archaeological dig, they found actual bows, long bows from medieval England. And apparently, all the stories were right. So those bows have a pull strength of about double of a contemporary composite bow that we have today. And because English like people were training with them since they were children,
Yes.
the left hand that's pulling the string would actually physically develop to be larger than a normal human. So in some sense they were like mutated archers that could have pulled those longbows, and an arrow from an English longbow could penetrate full plate armor. That's insane.
I've read about them. I've heard that the bones are ki- like different also in the shape because the amount of time they pull the string. So like the bones are like a little bit curved or something like that. Yeah, I mean that's crazy stories.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh yeah. So
let's
if you're,
do.
yes.
Sorry, did you finish?
No, yeah, I'm good.
Okay, let's do a little bit of news. I found news to talk about, so we'll talk on Horizon for a dedicated episode. So first of all, before I go and bite you into the news, there was an announcement trailer for a game called Soul Hackers 2 for the PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam. And
Okay.
it's another spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei, only in a sort of digital monsters kind of way. So it's sort of a Digimon game with Shin Megami Tensei monsters. So Persona monsters. If for
Yeah, it looks
listeners
like
that are
it,
not aware, Persona, our beloved game, is the spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei. So Soul Hackers, it looks amazing. Unlike like Shin Megami Tensei 5 came out 6 months ago, I think, or maybe less, to the Switch. And it lacks the stylization of Persona. It looks like a JRPG, like a normal JRPG with everything. And if you ever seen Persona, it's the most stylized game of all time. And Soul Hackers looks a lot more to the vein of Persona than Shin Megami Tensei. So I'm excited. I'm very excited. And
I think it
also
definitely has this
another
aesthetic.
SMT game for the PlayStation rocks.
Yes. No, it definitely have the Persona aesthetic.
Yeah,
Just like
totally.
looking at it.
It's coming out in August of this year. Ooh, I'm so excited. So that's an announcement that I just saw while we we're recording this. And now the news that I wanted to beat you with is about Stadia. So what do you think about the Stadia news, or?
Okay, let's start with the news. So I think ever since I think it was a insider report.
Yeah,
I
Business
think
Insider
that
reported that the Stadia project or business unit or whatever has been quote unquote demoted inside of Google. So they are going to invest it. Like, they haven't canceled it yet. It just been given a low priority, less resources, whatever. And pretty much every publication of the planet told Google to just kill it.
yeah. So and then Google like day after Google came up with said no, we're still doing it. It's still great, but nobody believed them. So I mean, listen, I'm not married to Stadia. Like I'm a great believer in cloud gaming. Like all of the games I play these days are through cloud, and like to me with the computer that with I have very good internet, but my computer is a potato. Like being able to play Chivalry 2 or Cyberpunk like on RTX max settings, like no lag, it's like it's amazing. So I'm a great believer in cloud gaming and like renting.
Just not Stadia,
great,
right?
but like and then so I went back to Stadia to play what was that game? Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, the new one. Wild. Yeah,
Breakpoints,
because
whatever.
like for some reason all the Ubisoft games have like cross saves except for this one. So it's like okay, well I have
Weird.
to like yeah, I don't know why. So and I invested like I'm already like 30 hours in, so I was like okay, that's fine. Like Stadia's quality compared to what Nvidia GeForce Now has, it's not even comparable. Like GeForce Now is amazing and syncs with your Steam library, which makes sense. So I think it's a very good proof of concept. I don't mind it shutting down, but I think cloud gaming will keep evolving, and I'm still on that train.
I agree.
I mean, Stadia was good entry point, and like I enjoyed for what it is. It's just the quality isn't there anymore when I get to compare it to actually playing on the highest settings with no lag.
Right. So obviously cloud gaming is not going away. Sony in the revamped subscription service are folding PlayStation Now into PlayStation Plus. So they will have more options for that, stuff like that. We'll see what Google does with it, because if you hear most people when they hear about Google canceling, it's like a meme thing. Google cancels things, but the reality is, if you actually know about how Google works, Google like puts forward tons and tons and tons of product. That's their philosophy, right? They will develop anything just to see that if the technology works. And all the employees have like a 20% rule for working on their own projects and stuff like that. And from the beginning, I said that Stadia for me was probably going to be like a tech test, like they did with Google Wave and Google Glasses and everything. And so those are the names people usually say, oh, Google canceled them, blah, 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 dead product. They're not dead products. All the technology of Google Docs now came from Google Wave. A lot of the technology of the Android notification system came from Google Glasses, etc. So I imagined like a future in which Google folds the technology from Stadia into Google Play. So they will just deploy it on all Android devices, and you could just cloud stream games to Android devices. And we may see that in a few years. I don't know. If it will be very weird if they just cancel everything and like scrap it. Very weird.
Yeah. And there's a really nice proof of concept with the Stadia controller, which just syncs with the cloud directly and streams it back to your screen, where they're like relying on your input.
Right, yeah.
So there's like bits and pieces that definitely work, and like I think
and they are not.
It was a good entry point for cloud gaming.
Exactly, and they are not like the only players in the field. Like you have Amazon, you have Nvidia, and you have PlayStation as well. So that technology is still used, right?
I think Microsoft are going to make big plays in that, because it's like my initial estimation was that Stadia and xCloud gaming and all of that is like a proof of concept to sell their cloud services. So because that's where the big money is at in the industry right now.
Oh, that can also be a thing. Like maybe they won't use it in a consumer facing side at all. Maybe just cloud infrastructure. That could be a thing.
So I think because that's where like Amazon now owns like 80% of the internet with like AWS. So like Microsoft putting that, and I mean a lot of the games that Microsoft has in cloud gaming are out of all the other platforms. So you can't play Skyrim, let's say, on GeForce Now, even though it's in your Steam library. Or there's a lot of, and I wonder what they'll do with the new Activision Blizzard now.
There was an announcement. Speaking of news, there was an announcement like a month after the acquisition, and they said outright that Activision games are going to stay cross-platform even beyond current signed contracts. So not only products that are already in development, but also future products.
Oh yeah, so that's important. So we'll see. I mean, I think cloud gaming is only going forward, and we're living in an era of like payment for services. So I'm gonna keep renting like a high-end rig with my internet over buying a PC for now, and we'll see.
Yeah. Cool. So we did the game and we did news, which is excellent. So we can close this up. This is all.
Oh, by the way, one last note. One last note on the whole cloud gaming business. With all the companies are rushing towards building like metaverses and crap like that, that also can be a good infrastructure for that. That's it.
Yet to be seen. I'm really not sold on all that of that, but we'll see.
Yes.
Okay, so this is all we have on the show today. Thank you for listening. You can find us online on Twitter. I'm at Icel, and Omer is at Omer Kaplan, although he doesn't read his Twitter.
I didn't log into Twitter in like maybe a year, but I still have a cool username, so we'll see.
Still. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, comment, and leave your reviews in your preferred listening app. You can find all of them at dburn.live. And our opening theme was created by Endoko with vocals by Fishy Twitch, both on Twitter as well. That's it. We'll see you next time. And until then, goodbye.
See you soon.